What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2, woodworking bench. If you want to make masterpieces, well, you need a good workbench. And I want to make masterpieces, so let's go finish it. Time for the best part. The Solberg's Vise. Yes! I cannot wait to use that thing. So, we're gonna start with that one, and obviously I have another one of these, but it's not here. So I'll just cut, I'll cut this, and I only have this piece, so I need to figure out where I'm gonna cut it, and then one piece will be for this tail vise, and then whatever's left over is gonna be for this front vise, or face vise, or whatever you call it, I don't care. Yeah, let's just get started. Would you look at that? I mean, you really have to take out some material on the bottom and this face side for these welds. I mean, you don't have to be too crazy, because once you drop that in place, oh man, that is beautiful. And there she is in all her glory. So this thing's ready to go. As far as I can go. I don't have the other vise yet, but there's the jaw. Yeah, this thing is ready to go. Load her up. All right, we've got the top of the table shipped over to the new shop location. All right, time to make some lights. So I grabbed another sheet, full sheet of plywood. We got a half a sheet left here. I figure the top's plywood, we might as well make the legs out of plywood too. But I do have this piece of pine that I rescued from a basement. I sent through the planer and cleaned it up. So we might use that somewhere, I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of just, I don't really have a plan, I'm just kind of diving in. Yeah, let's just start ripping it up. See what comes out the other side. Alright, so my miter saw is out on rental. So we're gonna have to do this, the whole job, with just a table saw. It's okay, we can manage. So we'll just use the crosscut sled and cut this all to length. And kind of what I'm thinking is that old trick where you kind of, you glue plywood boards together and you leave a gap or a space where you can interlock pieces of plywood together. You'll see. You'll see. Alright, so this is what I'm thinking, right? There's going to be a top rail that goes under the table, then 2 feet come out of that rail down to a bottom rail, which is basically going to be like the foot, but I have some little adjustable feet coming. I'm going to put 4 across one side and 4 across the other side, so the table can be leveled out perfectly. Because the ground's a little uneven and I want it perfectly level. And basically, this is what I'm thinking, right? I have all the pieces cut here, but bottom piece of plywood, then a space for the leg to slot in, and then 2 layers, and then we kind of just add the top, and now we've got 2 pockets, and this would be top rail and bottom rail, and then for the legs, just like this. 2 longer ones in the middle, just like that. We'll glue them. Yeah, I think we're gonna use glue and pin nails, just kind of pin everything together. Alright, they're all dry. I ended up coming out last night and I threw screws in these. A little short on clamps, but whatever. I did put some clamps on. But anyways, yeah, we just gotta run the scrub plane over these, knock all the glue off, and then maybe the number 7 jointer, just get everything smooth, and then we can glue everything together and make actual legs. So we're just gonna blast over these with sander really quick, just to knock all the fuzzies off. And I'm gonna take a 1/4 round bit and just kind of soften all the edges. Then a coat of poly, protect them, and we're done. Then we can go set up the bench. Alright, so we went with these headlock bolts, screws, 4 1/2s and 6 to kind of hold all of this together. Seems pretty good so far. I don't feel much racking, but we gotta get it level. we're gonna try to figure out how to build. I haven't really put too much thought into it. But how are we going to build some shelves underneath this table, which is necessary. So I'm thinking the first one will go right on this leg basically. So I'm gonna make notches so this will slide out to the edge of the table. That's why I had to kind of rip the shelves right down the middle. And then, I don't know, I think I'm gonna use just strips of plywood. Like everything else on this table is plywood, so might as well stick to the theme, make little supports somehow. And that's it, we got shelves. Alrighty, it's done. Let's take a look. So how much did it cost to build that workbench? Well, that's a good question. So the vices, we have a Soberg's vise and a Graz vise, and both of those vices together, $430 just for the woodworking vices. But the Soberg's vise, I say, hell yeah, that thing is sweet, and I can't wait to start using it. So we got 430 just in vices, and then we had 6 sheets of birch plywood, which they're going for $90 a sheet right now. Not Baltic birch, I wish, but we got regular birch. 6 sheets at $90, $540. So we're looking at $970 before epoxy, glue, and by the way, we went through 1 gallon of glue, you know, polyurethane and everything else that we use. So it's about over $1,000 for that bench. So you'll notice with the shelves that they're not the prettiest. They're not. I know that. You know, I put the time, money, effort into the top and the legs and the feet. You know, I want and the supports, the big beams that are under there. You know, I wanted it to be perfectly flat, perfectly straight, and perfectly level, so that if we want to build forms on it and do epoxy pours, we're not going to get pooling off in one corner or the other. It's a flat reference surface, like, yeah. But I also want people to use it and not worry about, oops, I scratched it, or oops, I got glue on it, because I'm sure that's going to happen. But you screw up my hand planes, and there will be hell to pay, because you can't get them. You haven't been able to buy them for over 2 years now. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, the shelves, I used screws, and I kind of built them as their own little standalone unit, just built under the woodworking bench. And there's certain places where they're screwed into, the legs of the bench. But I use screws so I could back them out if I feel like it in the future. If I want to, I could even use the plywood that's under there and rip it into strips and do end up just like the top, just smaller, and make floating, nice looking shelves underneath the woodworking bench. And it might be something I do in the future, or maybe not. It was just getting really, really expensive. So I just went with plain, simple function underneath the table. It's gonna be full of stuff. And yeah. Anyways, that's the new bench. Make sure you subscribe. Throw me a thumbs up. See you in the next one.